So, you're looking to be a spellcaster, but you don't want to have the backstory of just reading books and staying in a library the entire time. On today's episode, we're going to be covering sorcerers, their subclasses, and meta magic. All of this ties into the innate spellcasting ability born into your family lineage. All of this is going to be covering 5.5, the newest update for D&D. And, well, let's get started. So, sorcerers. Sorcerers are spellcasters, like I said, with the innate ability to wield magic, whether it be in the family lineage given to them by some deity or cosmic power, rather than the heavy-duty reading and studying that a wizard would have to do to learn spells. So starting off, making your sorcerer just the sorcerer class in and of itself. At level 1, you get the ability to have innate sorcery. So with this, you get to have a higher spell save DC. So spell save, if you're casting something that requires another enemy or opponent, anything like that, to save, you get a bump up of 1 in that spell save DC, and you have advantage on attack roll of sorcerer spells you cast if you use the innate sorcery ability. Now this, you can use it twice per long rest, but it gives you kind of that extra bump you might need to really make sure that a spell hits. At level 2, you get the Font of Magic, where you can start using your meta magics more often. You can kind of...
I thought like you had magic writing. I don't know.
No, Font of Magic, although I suppose that kind of falls in line.
Let me hit you with a capital T.
But at level 2, you get your first sorcery points. So these sorcery points are used on your meta magics. Meta magics are the ways that a sorcerer can kind of twist the standard spells and make them work even better in their advantage there. So we'll jump forward into level 5. You get Sorceress Restoration. When you finish a short rest, you can regain your sorcery points to, I believe it is half, rounded down, of your sorcerer level. So let's say level 4 sorcerer, well, this is level 5, so level 6 sorcerer would be able to regain 3 of their sorcery points back on a short rest. You can only use this once per long rest, so if it's a quick break for your party, you can gain up some more points to keep moving, whereas a wizard class or even some of the other spellcasting abilities would need a full long rest to regain those abilities.
Yeah, because they don't have time to read their precious books.
Yeah, they need to study to get their stuff back. If you, let's say it's later on, you want to use your innate sorcery ability to get that buff, at level 7, you can actually use 2 of your sorcery points to use innate sorcery again past your original limit. So when it comes right down to it, you'll be able to keep getting those buffs, and there's ways to kind of use your sorcerer and innate abilities to keep getting those.
So you said at level 7?
7.
So level 7, you come in with the remix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be the third time you can use innate sorcery, and this time you'd use, like I said, 2 sorcery points to do that. And then you can use your restoration on a short rest and get those points back.
So yeah, so it's a fuelity, kind of like I'm just refueling myself.
You just keep regenerating your own stuff.
And meanwhile, the wizards over here just... There's not a chapter on how to do that.
So at level 20, now this is the big one. So this is tip top of the iceberg here. You have Arcane Apotheosis. Apotheosis. You can use your innate sorcery ability, so your extra buff, that +1 and your advantage, and you can use a meta magic without needing to use a sorcery point to do so. Now you can use something, let's say a careful spell, if you're throwing a fireball. You can use your meta magic to adjust your fireball without needing to use any of your sorcery points. So you can continuously just keep buffing yourself and going through. So speaking of the meta magic, let's work our way through the list, and I'll kind of explain each one of them a little bit, and then we'll get on into the subclasses of the Sorcerer in D&D 5.5. Starting off with the Careful spell. Ooh, be careful. I don't want to hurt them, but I want to hurt you.
Yeah, exactly.
Fireball.
Unless they make me mad. Then
Easy. Yeah, well.
Then that guy in particular. Beat that guy in particular. I'm sorry.
Language. We have children watching. Some.
Sorry.
So Careful spell. You can choose an amount of creatures, whether they be enemies, friends, NPCs, up to your charisma modifier. So if you have a +3 to your charisma, you can choose 3 creatures inside of that zone that need to make a save. They immediately make the save, and if they were to take damage even at a save, like say Fireball, you take half damage. They immediately don't take any damage. So it is a complete wipe of anything that they could take from that spell.
So note to self, don't make sorcerers mad.
Yeah, because they can just withhold that little bit of like, I could save you, but I'm not gonna.
But you stole my pen.
You stole my pen. Why you be Rogan?
I be Rogan, that's what I do. Just not the Joe kind. But
So then we have Distance spell. Distance spell doubles the distance that you can cast anything. So again, let's say it's a lightning
Goblin.
spell.
Oh.
What?
I said goblin.
I don't know. I didn't know you could cast Goblin, but let's call it that.
Goblin.
Little green man flying through the air. Just, but you can double the distance that it can be cast. So 60 foot becomes 120, 30 foot becomes 60, so on and so forth. And with that, if you are doing, like, say, something that has to be within 5 feet, the touch spells, Shocking Grasp, anything like that, using that same meta magic, you now have a cast of 30 feet. So if somebody's non-resistant to electricity and you want to use Shocking Grasp, full Palpatine, just infinite power. So Empowered spell is the next one. When you roll damage for your spell, let's say you're rolling 3d6s. With Empowered spell, after rolling, you can use Empowered and re-roll the damage dice up to your charisma modifier. So if it's a dice roll of 5 dice and you have a +5 to your modifier, you can re-roll all 5, but you have to take that second roll.
Could be better, could be.
50-50. Extended spell.
You could say it's a roll of the dice.
But don't. When you cast a spell that has a duration, like say fly or hold person, something to that effect, this will double that effective time. So 10-minute cast becomes 20, so on and so forth. And when it comes to timing, especially in combat, each turn is 6 seconds. So for every 6 seconds, that is one person's time. So if you have a 10-minute spell, that's going to be 60 turns in and of itself. So you double onto that. You can lock somebody down. Granted, they can still make their saving throws. But you can pretty much lock somebody in place just like that. Or keep an effect on them just like that. Heightened spell.
That's nasty.
What's that?
That
Just being able to lock somebody down now?
Like you, like the big bad. You're just not moving.
And then on top of that, let's say if they're locked down like that, on the next one, Heightened spell, you give them disadvantage against a save on your cast. So if I'm trying to use Hypnosis, something to that effect. Something that, again, if the initial lockdown, you can also use the Heightened spell if they've been saving from your throws.
That sounds disrespectful.
I'm going to give you disadvantage. I'm going to make sure this shit hits.
That sounds like a Jedi.
It sounds like a Jedi.
Yeah, trying to turn the tide.
A Jedi would not want to use these abilities, but you made them.
I disagree.
They're so wrong. Quicken spell. So with Quicken spell, you can use a bonus action as your cast. So rather than taking a full action like your standard attack, you can use a bonus action instead, thus giving you the ability that I know you always complain about not being able to swing on somebody. It's like, why can't I cast a spell and punch somebody?
I do like to be swinging.
So now on Quicken Spell, you use a bonus action to cast, and then you can use your action to try to swing on somebody. Not really a good idea most of the time.
A sorcerer could be pumped.
It's not usually.
They could be.
Could be, and no.
I feel like for a wizard it's weird. For a sorcerer, I feel like since this is innate, they don't have to spend their time in the library.
Spellcaster.
They could be spending their time in the gym.
I want to see you build a spellcaster that's meant to like hand-to-hand combat and not use like School of Blades or blade singing.
Well, that's not even a sorcerer subclass.
I know, but I said spellcaster.
Oh, well, I would go sorcerer, and I'd be pumped.
You'd be pumped. You just put everything into strength.
I'll do it. I'll build one.
It's gonna be so bad.
It might be great.
Now with the Quicken Spell, though, you have to use the Quicken Spell first.
Makes sense.
You have to use Quicken Spell and your bonus action first cast for you to then cast again on your regular action. It will not allow you to go action and then bonus action. It cancels it out. Which I find kind of odd, but at the same point, like, I get it. I don't know really what the reasoning is.
It's like magic.
But
the stack is that you got to do it correct.
You got to do it in the right order. Then we have Seeking Spell. So you'll make your attack roll. So you roll your d20 plus your modifier, whatever it is at the time. If you miss, you can use a sorcery point to cast Seeking Spell. So it's almost kind of like like it's a boomerang almost in that sense, where you cast the spell, oh no, it missed, and then Seeking Spell, it can come right back.
I see. I thought Seeking Spell means like, I just imagined like you cast Lightning Bolt on someone and they're running from you and it's just falling. Like, no!
I mean, you could play it off like
just
that. To see it bouncing around and chasing them down. It might first cast miss, send Seeking Spell, and the next one hits. It's exactly like that. It would chase him down and hit him. A Subtle Spell. Now, Subtle Spell I like, especially if you're playing with the rules that you have to use material components or vocal components or the like hand motions that they are dictated by the rules, but I know every table is different. So with a Subtle Spell, I would think more story-based. If you're trying to cast something without like another character knowing, you're able to use Subtle Spell with no somatic, vocal, or material components unless something is consumed, if you play by those rules. But you can cast it without making any motions. It just happens. Just boom. Fireball appears. Where did that come from? I don't know. Then another one I like is the Transmuted Spell. Now, the Transmuted Spell is really, really useful, especially if you have a buff to certain elements, like, say, with the Draconic Sorcery. So if you're able to, let's say you get a buff to poison damage, or acid damage, or lightning damage, and you, again, using Fireball as an example, you throw out a Fireball. You're not going to get a buff with fire. With Transmuted Spell, you can turn that ball of fire into a ball of lightning. Or a ball of poison.
So I can play Johnny Cash.
That's Ring of Fire.
Oh.
Close enough.
I'll let it say Great Balls of Fire.
No, that's Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh.
Pretty sure it's Jerry Lewis.
Well, that joke didn't land.
Neither did the spell.
Ba-dum-tsh.
So yeah, you're able to change the element of your spell to match your own buff, and I think that's really useful against either resistances or your own buffs, things like that. It can really come in handy later on. Then we have Twin Spell. Twin Spell is really nice, especially with a more offensive build. So take Firebolt, for example. You can use Twin Spell to cast a single target spell, so something that only hits one person. And with Twin Spell, you're able to pick 2 instead. So if you get a couple of guys coming at you, you can automatically just boom, boom, right off rip. One turn, hit them both with the same spell. Which I think is really cool, especially, again, for like heavier combat builds. That's a really good thing to have. So let's go into the subclasses, which is like the meat of the sorcerers. So starting off, we have Abberant Sorcery. Abberant being it's a either mind flare tadpole got into your character's brain but you never transformed, or you were affected by cosmic rays, something to that effect that would cause you to have more of a psychic ability. And that's where the Abberant Sorcerer would come from. So at level 3, you get a grouping of psionic spells, so it's going to be things that kind of build towards that. Arms of Hadar, Calm Emotions, a lot of like the mental and psychic abilities. But also at level 3, you gain telepathic speech, where you can form a telepathic bond with one other character within 30 feet, and you can communicate for miles outside from each other. If you have a group split, they can still telepathically communicate with each other for, I believe it's a number of days equal to your charisma modifier. So again, if you're rocking a +5, you got 5 days of telepathic communication over miles with your other party member or whoever this is.
I would just, just mess with random players.
Why?
That's because it'd be fun.
Just get inside their head and start talking to them?
Mm-hmm.
That is a DM's nightmare.
I'm like, remember Bocephus from the... Yeah, well, I got in his head. And let's see, it's like 1 a.m. He's trying to sleep right now.
Just going to start waking him up with random noise.
Is your refrigerator running?
What is going on? I'm hearing voices in my head.
I hear voices in my head anyway.
So with Psionic Sorcery at level 6, you can actually use your Sorcerer points to cast certain psionic spells. So it kind of gives you even longer list of things that you can do at the same time. So rather than running out of spell slots, you're able to use your Sorcery points as well. And that paired up with that Sorcerer's Regeneration ability, where you can kind of get your points back after a short rest, is an automatic refill to spell slots, essentially. Now, also at level 6, you get Psychic Defenses, which gives you resistance to psychic damage, and you have advantage on saving throws to avoid charmed and frightened conditions. So basically, you can affect other people's heads, but they have a harder time getting into yours. Which is really nice depending on the storyline that you're rocking, or whoever the big bad is, or if something that the DM's trying to do to kind of mess with the group. Especially if it's any kind of mental attack from your big bad, you have that resistance against it. It's almost like you're fighting with the right sword and shield at hand. Now we have, at level 14, this one was really neat. Revelation of Flesh. So it sounds brutal. But with your ability, you can actually transform your physical form to match whatever situation that you're in. So we have 4 different forms you can take. One of them, you grow gills and webbed hands and feet, and you're able to basically swim like a fish and breathe underwater. And you get these for 10 minutes apiece. So if you're diving for, let's say, a wrecked pirate ship, or trying to find a gem at the bottom of a pond, this is perfect for not having to worry about breathing time, oxygen, anything like that. You have the advantage underwater at this point.
That's dope.
Isn't it, though? You turn into a merman, or a merwoman, basically. Or Harry Potter with killyweed.
I'm Aquaman.
Aquaman?
Or the Deep.
I haven't watched The Boys.
Oh.
Which is kind of sad, as I know I need to, but I just haven't yet.
It's kind of ironic.
What is that?
It's just like nerd shit, but yet.
I mean, kinda. So the next one is Glistening Flight. So essentially, you're able to fly for 10 minutes. You have flight speed equal to your speed, and you can hover. So it's essentially you're just changing your own form to be able to float around to go do whatever you want to do. The next one is the ability to see the invisible. So rather than actually having to cast that kind of sight, or having true sight or something to that effect, for 10 minutes you're able to just see invisible things. As long as it's not between like a solid cover, you're able to see it. Excuse me. And then the last one I thought was funny, and I really think that it could cause problems for a DM. Worm-like movement. Take a guess at what this would be.
I don't know.
Somewhat like that. You can condense your body down to fit through cracks or keyholes or anything as long as it's 1 inch or greater. You literally like squeeze through the smallest of spaces. For 10 minutes you're able to do this.
Just don't get stepped on.
You don't shrink.
Oh.
You physically, like if I put my finger through a keyhole, I can just start going through to the other side.
That'd be wild to watch.
Right? Just and then through.
That's wild.
Isn't it though? Now at level 18, you have the ability to teleport. I believe it's within 120 feet. Yeah, 120 feet in a place that you can see. And people within 30 feet of where you left, they have to roll a save to not be sucked into the void that you left behind. So you almost like cast a black hole. They get pulled in and take 3d10 force damage if they fail.
Damn.
And they're all pulled into the center of this area. So it's really good for especially if a sorcerer gets surrounded or they start closing in with melee attacks. That snap of teleport, they all get sucked into one point. And then being able to turn around and cast something on top of them, especially something bigger that would affect a space, you're able to do that. And that's a lot of the base ideas between Abberant Sorcery is being able to change your physical form, kind of meld with the battlefield, but being able to really play that mental and psychic game against enemies. So moving on to the next, we have Clockwork Sorcery, which, personal preference, I probably wouldn't build one myself. It's just not my style of build. It is a very buff, debuff type of build where it's not so much offensive or defensive. It's kind of just effects.
You like support classes. I'm surprised.
I like support classes, but to this extent, it kind of just nullifies everything that's going on. So there's abilities to take away somebody's advantage or impose disadvantage. You can take those away. Let's say if an enemy puts disadvantage on you. There's an effect with the Clockwork Sorcerer that you're able to take that away and just negate spells. Not negate spells, I said that wrong. Negate those effects. So disadvantages, advantages, you take those away and basically nullify all of it.
You make it an even playing field.
Basically, it's all about balance, which I find kind of fascinating. It's just not my style. At level 3, you get your Clockwork spells. So again, just like the Abberant Sorcerer, you get psionic spells. These ones you get Clockwork spells. So there are things that are more about controlling the battlefield, alarm, protection from good and evil, dispel magic. A lot of those more protection, defensive, that sort of thing to negate others' abilities. So at level 3, you get Restore Balance, and your connection to the plane of absolute order. When a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself is about to roll a d20 with advantage, this is what I was saying, you're able to negate that advantage or negate the disadvantage. And that is used as a reaction.
That's cool.
Isn't it, though? Like, being able to use it as a reaction instead of a bonus action or a full action, it really would make it work. But a lot of it, like I said, unless you're building towards having either a big bad that has a lot of those effects, something to that style, I don't know. It's weird. I might have to toy with it a little bit myself.
Well, we can do a character dive. Or build characters.
Yeah,
we'll just
might have
pick
to
random
just
subclasses.
Do some quick ones just to see how they would come out. And you can use that to a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. So again, +3, you can do that reaction 3 different times until you need to take a long rest. At level 6, you get Bastion of Law. Pretty much you can put a shield around somebody. And if I remember correctly, yeah, it's 1 to 5 sorcery points that you use, and you roll that many d8s when they take damage. So let's say you're my fighter, somebody's about to hit you with a big attack, I put this onto you, I used 4 sorcery points to cast it. Whenever they go to hit you, I roll 4 d8s, and I take that much damage away from their attack.
That's cool.
Like I said, it's a very negating kind of gatekeeping style of play, which is really neat if you have another caster that's going to be more offensive. This is the defensive guy. Or even if you have some people that can handle going in and attacking you. This is not really a healer by any means. You have the abilities. It is part of the Clockwork spell list, but it's not built to buff just that. It's more of a general effects kind of negating, which in its own right is kind of neat. And that ward lasts until either a long rest or until I cast it on somebody else. So basically you have just this constant shield around you as I'm able to do that. So
I could see some uses for that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely useful. It's just one of those things that just doesn't play towards my personal style. If you're very much a kind of a buff or even like a magic negating kind of like you just want to kind of like block people. Like you thought you were going to cast that. Nope, it's taken out. Oh, I'm going to give you disadvantage. Nope. You gave yourself advantage for this attack. Nope.
So it should be called the Nope class.
Yeah. Nope Clockwork.
Nope Clockwork.
It shuts down everything. So at level 14, you get Trance of the Order. You gain the ability to align your consciousness with the calculations of Mechanus, which is where like the main Clockwork abilities come from, is a plane called Mechanus. When you go into this state for a full minute, during the duration attack rolls against you can't benefit from advantage. Whenever you make a d20 test, you can treat it as a roll of 9 or lower as a 10. So kind of like how the rogue gets the if you roll a 9 or less, it automatically jumps up to a 10. Mm-hmm. This is for the spellcaster, but you only get this for 1 minute, whereas with the rogue you get it pretty much set in stone.
It's there.
So it's really neat if you definitely need to make sure you pass a d20 test, whether that be hits, you can do arcana checks, things like that. It locks you in for those if you know you have to do it. But it's not a constant running thing. You only get it for 1 minute, and you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, or you have to use 5 of your sorcerer points to pay for another chance to use it. So it's...
That said, don't worry, guys. I got this.
It's like, I definitely got this. Focus. I'm going to go in onto this. Now, this part, at level 18, the Clockwork Cavalcade, I really liked. Inside of, I forget the size of it, it's a 30-foot cube. And I pictured it very cinematically as like cartoon little like clock robots show up. But they can either heal for up to 100 hit points spread out over however many creatures you give. Let's say if you have a party of 5, you want to split it amongst everybody, you have 100 points to allocate as you will. You can repair everything inside of that 30 feet. So let's say if you're, I don't know, a hospital got attacked and there's one room that you needed to make sure stays intact, these guys will go through and it's automatically just whoop and repaired inside of a 30-foot cube.
Reparo.
I'm going to have it like jingle when you do that with little like sparkles. Or dispel. And so basically every magical effect inside of that area is just negated. So if somebody has a curse put on them, or if somebody's got something else magically wrong with them, even if it's a magical effect from an item that they're carrying, this dispels it. Like I said, it's very much a nope, not going to happen.
Nah, player.
Now we'll move on to Draconic Sorcery, which I think is really neat. Fire effect. So with this one, obviously, you have some sort of draconic ancestry, or you were given the last bit of power from like a dying dragon, or blessed with it from another.
Oh, Grandma got freaky.
She might have. You never know. They sell things.
They do.
They do.
Anyway.
So you get, at level 3, Draconic Resilience. So your hit point maximum increases automatically by 3, and then it's an additional 1 every time you level up with your sorcerer level. You also get, and this is the part that I think is really nice, especially
so
for...
if you paired that with like a dwarf, because you get the Dwarven's Resistance, which they also get extra hit point per level. You just...
You'll be buffing.
Oh, yeah.
The Draconic Sorcery is nice, and that's not... I'd have to get to his armor, too. You have innate armor. So you get a armor class of 10 right off rip, which seems low, but then you also add in your dexterity modifier and your charisma modifier to your armor class, and that's without armor on.
So that's equivalent to the monk and the barbarians.
And this is constant. This isn't like a rage or something that you can only have an effect.
The unarmored, that class where like the monk is the dexterity wisdom.
I think it's unarmed defense or something like that. But yeah, with Draconic Resilience, let's say if you like super buff build your Sorcerer in Draconic, you 10 plus, let's say it's your 4 in Charisma plus another 3 for you have a 17 armor class without using anything to buff it. Now that is, of course, if you're not wearing armor. If you wear armor, it kind of pretty much negates it.
It replaces your armor, overrides.
Exactly.
Which it makes sense.
It does.
I don't need a level 1 with like a 23 armor class.
But I think what's really cool with spellcasters is the majority of the stuff that they get, especially like robes, things of that nature, they don't have an armor class to them. It's just usually mage armor that you have to use.
And braces of defense is really good
for Baldur's Gate.
But that's an actual class.
Is it really?
It's an actual thing. Yeah.
I never look at the like real equipment.
Yeah. Braces of defense is an actual D&D. Most of all the Baldur's Gate stuff for the most part.
I'm not surprised. I just never.
Yeah, braces of defense. You've got your ringer protection. Like all those are good.
So things like that would be able to buff it, but immediately as you go into anything that's considered armor, it negates this effect. So you can still wear the heavy armor if you're proficient in it, but this is really nice. And if you build yourself right, then you can have like an 18
and then you're
armor
not
class.
clean clackety as you're walking.
Yeah, you would just be wearing clothes.
Or nothing.
Fair enough. You got a naked dragon man out there. At level 3, you also get your usual draconic spells, the same as all the other subclasses. You get things like Alter Self, Chromatic Orb, Dragon's Breath, those sort of things. Immediately at level 3. You get more as you level up 3, 5, 7, 9, and that's spread out through all those subclasses. But at level 6, Draconic Sorcery, you get Elemental Affinity. This is where you pick that buff that we were talking about whenever it comes to the transmutation meta magic. You pick the dragon that has the effect that you want. So whether it be acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, you're able to take on that element, and you'll have resistance to it, as well as being able to add your charisma modifier to the damage of any spells you cast with that. So that's where the meta magic comes in, to where you can transform that spell into your buff to get the other effects from that.
So you can quote Smaug from The Hobbit.
What do you mean?
Just there's a line where he mentions like I am death.
You can, but he's kind of a villain. I mean, some people play villains, but yeah.
It's all depends on how you view it. You might view him as not the villain. You might view the dwarf as the villain.
He broke into their home. Kicked them out. They squatted. Smaug is a squatter.
But it depends,
Or Smaug.
Smaug, it's subjective. It's all on how you look at it.
Not really.
Well,
they just be chilling in the mountain.
I personally think
Grandpappy go a little crazy, but
I personally and nephew, not nephew, grandson.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
No, there was no kind of. He went.
Yeah, but not to that extent.
He went cuckoo for. He started to, but then he got smacked out of it. I don't know. I think personally villains are more compelling, but that can be a podcast topic. Anyway,
at level 14, we get dragon wings. So you sprout these spectral wings, however designed that you wish, but you're able to fly at the speed of 60 feet, and you can only use this once per long rest unless you want to use 3 sorcerer points to regain it again. So you can kind of intermittently change it. You're not locked into the long rest thing, but you're going to give something to get this ability back. And then the last one, which I think is probably the biggest thing when it comes to Draconic Sorcery, at level 18, you get Dragon Companion.
Shut up. Yeah. I get a little wyvern toy?
Nope.
Pet? Oh.
you get to summon a dragon. You can cast Summon Dragon without using any material components. You can cast it without a spell slot, and you regain the ability to cast it when you finish a long rest. You can summon a dragon every day.
And that dragon gonna be my...
And you can modify it to where it doesn't require concentration, but if you do that, it only lasts for... the spell's duration becomes 1 minute if not for that kind of casting. So you have to concentrate on it, which in that case, if you get hit, you have to roll the save. There's a chance to break that and the dragon takes off. Or you can cast it with the meta magic to make it to where you don't have to concentrate, but it only lasts for 1 minute.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I want T-Rex.
What?
What?
Because I want to dragon T-Rex.
Yeah, my T-Rex. I want to ride them.
But as far as that goes, though, like you also get, if I'm not mistaken, you also get a charisma boost when you're talking to dragons. That might be in the 2014. I can't remember right off the top of my head.
I would.
But you get buffs for that kind of ancestry. So moving on, this is probably my favorite one, the Wild Magic Sorcery. So Wild Magic being the sorcerer was either given it without wanting the magic, or it's something they're not able to control. And that kind of chaos makes it so much fun, especially with the Wild Magic surges. So starting off...
But I can think of worse things. You know what I mean? Like, here, take this magic. Oh, I don't want it.
Well, it's not even I don't want it. I don't know how to control it. It just kind of be wilding out and doing things.
It's chaos.
It is. It's chaos.
It's the chaos.
It's so much fun.
It's chaos magic. That's a Witcher reference.
So at level 3, you can start getting these Wild Magic surges. Once per turn, you can roll a d20 immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell. That you have to use the spell slot. This can't be used on cantrips. So if you cast with a spell-slotted sorcerer skill, you can roll a d20 immediately after to roll on the magic surge table. You have to roll a nat 20 to be able to go onto the Wild Magic Surge. Mostly because a lot of these on the surge table are buffs or extra casts or things to that effect, but there are some negatives.
So is that a I choose or the DM choose? Because you worded it was I can.
Yeah.
So I can just choose to never do it.
Once per turn, you can roll a d20 immediately after casting a sorcerer spell with the spell slot. If you roll a 20, roll on the magic surge table to create that magical effect. If it is a spell, so let's say if it's a magic missile, you can't use your meta magics on the surge table. It just pops. It just goes. Now, as you level up in the Wild Magic Sorcery, you gain more control over the wild magic. I mean, as one does after doing it for so long, you gain more control over it, which is really neat.
Yeah, because if you don't, then what are you doing with your life?
So on level 3, you get Tides of Chaos. So you can give yourself advantage on one d20 roll before you roll the d20. So if it's something that you know that you're going to need to roll well for, arcana checks, things of that nature, even attacks, you can use the Tides of Chaos effect. But once you use this effect, you are going to have to cast a sorcerer spell with a spell slot or finish a long rest before you can use the feature again. So you have to cast something before being able to use the Tides of Chaos again. If you do cast with a spell slot before you finish a long rest, you automatically roll in the Wild Magic Surge table. So this is not one of your choosing. If you cast without having that long rest before going again, you automatically cast on the Surge table. Which, like say, I'm just gonna choose one of these and just rattle it off. Let's see. A spectral shield hovers near you for the next minute, granting you a +2 bonus to AC and immunity to magic missile. So that's just a random thing on there. You also have the next time you cast a spell that deals damage within the next minute, don't roll the spell's damage dice for the damage. Instead, use the highest number possible for each damage die. So a lot of these are buffs.
Yeah?
Other casts.
I work out.
let me see. I know there's another good one on here that I wanted to see. Oh, here we go. This is another one, 93 to 96. So these is on a D100. You and all creatures within 30 feet of you have vulnerability to piercing damage for the next minute.
That's not great.
No, it's not. So you can either save yourself with things like the shield, or you can hurt your team depending on how this magic goes. What's that?
Intruder.
Alert?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
A gnat.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then we have Bend Luck at level 6. You have the ability to twist fate using your wild magic. Immediately after another creature you can see rolls a d20 for a d20 test, you can take a reaction, spend a sorcery point, roll a d4, and apply the number to the bonus or penalty. So if you're rolling for something, I can use Bend Luck and a sorcery point, and I can roll a d4 to either give you a buff, kind of like a bardic inspiration. Mm-hmm. I can put it towards your thing. Or if an enemy is doing it, I can actually take away up to 4 points from his roll. So it's really nice being able to do something like that as a bonus action. Yeah, bonus. I'm sorry. It's a reaction. I lied. How dare I? How dare you? At level 14, we have Controlled Chaos. So this is getting further up into the sorcery levels. Mm-hmm. So you're going to start gaining more control over the magic. Whenever you roll on the Wild Magic Surge table, you can roll twice and use either number. So you roll that D100 twice and be able to pick the effect that you want, 1 or 2. Which is really nice because, like I said before, there's ones that it heals you at the beginning of every turn, or it gives your entire team vulnerability to damage. You never know what you're going to get.
And that's flavor.
That's why I like
you might want to pick the vulnerability.
Why would you make your entire team vulnerable?
I don't know. Teach them a lesson.
Teach them, yourself included.
Yeah, but roll the dice, you know what I mean?
Not roll. You rolled the dice twice and you picked that one, so it's a choice.
Maybe I want it that way.
No.
Well,
just don't.
Maybe I want a TPK.
You want to destroy your entire team?
I might.
Why?
Couldn't tell you. They took the last lumbus leaf. I don't know. Lumbus bread.
And then we have at level 8.
Potatoes. Just gone.
Potatoes. At level 18, we have Tamed Surge. Immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell with a spell slot, you can create an effect of your choice from the Wild Magic Surge table instead of rolling for it. Now you're able to do this. Let me see. You can choose any effect except for the final one. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. So once per day, you can just cast from the Wild Surge table.
So I can make everyone invulnerable.
Why do you want to kill your entire team?
I don't.
There's other ones on here. Let me see. I'm going to find a good one.
Or maybe I do. I don't know. What if they're bullies?
Then why are you teamed up with a bunch of bullies?
Because sometimes you don't always get to pick.
Most of the time.
Not always.
And say
we were trapped and we all got to fight our way out. I don't know these people. Maybe they made me mad.
You are a DM nightmare at this point.
No.
Here's a party. I'm going to put you all in the same prison. You're supposed to break out together. I don't know you.
Have I ever been a nightmare for you?
Yes.
I disagree.
I do not.
Wait, no. I think I'm a lovely player because I know my character and I know what I can do.
That's not all about. That's not everything that D&D is about.
I am really good at figuring things out.
Congratulations.
Understanding where things I think I am a good player.
You might be a good solo player.
No, I think I'm a good player in a party setting.
But whenever we have a party that wants to split up or attack each other, that's a DM nightmare. Immediately.
I was going to say I don't ever want to split up, but that's not true.
You don't split the party. Splitting the party is bad.
I'm leaving the party by them. I'm splitting.
Yes.
It's fine. I'm probably better off.
Such a nightmare. But yes, overall, when it comes to sorcerers and the meta magics really are a huge buffer to that class. Being able to morph the magic that even a wizard or the Arcane Trickster Rogue would be able to use, but being able to bend these to your own personal taste or whatever the situation needs is a massive buff for somebody trying to use a Sorcerer class in and of itself. But then having these nice backgrounds, like say Wild Magic, Abberant Sorcery, Draconic Sorcery, or the Clockwork, depending on how you want your character to act, how you want them to build, how you want to use their abilities, it's really good flavor for role-playing all throughout these sorcerers. So I do highly recommend it. Just really make sure that you know what you're getting into with them, because they do kind of come off as a little bit more complicated whenever using them. But once you know what you're doing and what you have access to, they can become a very powerful part of the team. So with that, we can take a deeper dive into some of the individual subclasses, or even the Surge table. Or like you said before, we can start making some builds and kind of showing you how the character would turn out and skills and stats wise. But as for today, that is really everything that we can cover in D&D 5.5, the 2024 update. So like, subscribe, stay tuned with us. We'll be coming out with more videos on the individual classes and subclasses. And if there's anything in particular that you would like us to touch on or answer questions for, please let us know down in the comments below. I've been Eric.
I'm Justin.
And we'll see you next time.